Welcome to the hottest real estate topics on the planet, keeping you up to date with all the creative ways to buy and sell real estate without bank qualifying, so anyone can build real income starting today. Here is another great show with Dealmaker Bill and Pete the Rookie.
And here we are at another episode of Flipping Houses for Rookies. I'm Bill the Dealmaker.
Good morning, Bill.
And you are?
I don't know.
Oh, boy. We have an identity crisis this morning?
You said Flipping Houses for Rookies, and I know there's a lot of rookies listening, but I'm supposed to be the rookie. I'm on your side, rookies. I advocate for you. Bill, what does that mean? Because if I don't understand, the poor children don't understand. But I don't know. I got to check, and I'm getting kind of cocky over here.
Kind of.
Well, you got to fight for every scrap around here. All right, I'm Pete the Rookie. Just let's get off of it.
Kind of cocky.
Kind of.
Pete, I think you skipped over the kind of part.
Well, it's been like 3 months, and I get no respect.
No respect?
No respect. But
Pete.
What?
Let me ask you a question.
Yes, Bill.
When you paid your electric bill,
yes,
did you pay it with respect?
But I'm saying it's a check. It's a big check.
When you go to the grocery store, does the girl at the front desk at the grocery store say, Pete, can I have 683 respects, please?
Hey, the lady at the Whole Foods store gave me a nice little cartoon about flipping houses. It was stupid. It was a dinosaur. Instead of flipping cars like King Kong, or not King Kong, or what was that? Godzilla. He was flipping houses. It was supposed to be a joke. She respects me.
She does?
She saved that for me specifically. Yeah.
So did you get her phone number?
I have the phone number, yeah.
You have her phone number?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So make sure you call her when it's time to pay your mortgage.
Hey,
ask her to participate.
The daughter gave me free vitamins last time.
She did.
She gave me a free bottle of
why
vitamins.
Why are you diverting this question?
Because it's Flipping Houses for Rookies plus Pete the Apprentice. Featuring Dealmaker Bill and Pete the Apprentice. Doesn't that sound good?
All right, so let's do this. You ready?
What?
I'm willing to play along. So as we spoke about the last podcast, we've had a lot of listeners now. We've really done a good job.
I see this coming.
So here's what I want to do. If you think that Pete should be advanced from the rookie into a different status, please email us at info@flippinghouses.club. info@flippinghouses.club, and tell us what you think Pete's status should be.
And my pitch is that I've been marketing houses, found a house, got into the house, builded the presentation. He referred us to another house, which we bought with my marketing and Bill's wonderful presentation. We renovated the house, and I did a lot of the work myself, and I did a lot of running the contract, because you bought more houses and took off, and I handled a lot of that, which with you, yes. But I managed a lot, and the lawn looks good. I got the marble out there, got the electrician in. It gets sold, and then I've been in the house doing my own presentation. My last presentation was to a realtor referred by another realtor, and they listened to me because they didn't know what I was talking about. So I've gotten that far. Can I get a promotion? That's my case. I've pled it. I am done.
info@flippinghouses.club. Let me know if Pete should get a promotion.
Help me!
And if the crowds come running, Peter, to your defense, then we will talk about it.
It'll be a pure vote.
If we get no emails, you are dead.
If you don't want me to, do not vote. If you want me to, you like my jokes, I'm pleading to Mawa out there, and my other fan. The last meetup, I'm setting up, and the lady goes, "You sound familiar. Do I sound like a rock star? A mogul?" She goes, "I went to podcast." "You're Pete." "Yes, I'm Pete the Rookie." And what did she say when you asked her, "Do you like Pete's corny jokes?"
I don't remember.
She said yes. She said yes. All right, back to the show.
Episode number 42. We're calling this Path to a Purchase.
Path to a Purchase.
What does that mean?
That sounds like the steps to take to buy a house.
Okay.
We'll
talk about that.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I think I told you this the other day, there's two things that I think, as The Apprentice, that are really...
Emails have arrived? Is that what you're telling me? The vote has been adjudicated?
I'm just planting subliminal messages.
The adjudication is in.
Be the apprentice. I think there's two things that people should be interested, speaking from my perspective, seeing the whole path so you don't feel lost and like, where am I starting? Where am I going with this thing? But also like deal structuring that you do at like the meetups and on the videos on the website. Like the way you can structure and finance deals is phenomenal. But I think those two things will blow anybody's mind. But if you don't see the whole path, you just don't know where the heck you're going.
Right.
That's just my opinion.
Right.
I think it's a really big thing. So this should be good. Dazzle us, Bill.
So what Peter's talking about, we actually did a workshop on that, and you can actually purchase that online. If you go to flippinghouses.club or flippinghouses.club/podcast, it says to learn more or something like that. There's a button there you can go, and the course he's talking about is, I think it's called the Blueprint course.
That sounds, the
The Blueprint course. And what we did is there's actually 6 modules to your business, and I went over each one of them about an hour each, and explained the vital components of each one, so you can see what the entire business is. And I think that's I think it's like $97 or something. It's not much money.
$97, you're crazy.
I think so, $197. I don't know. Go on the website. I'm not sure what it is. But there is a course that I did do that, so you get the concept of the whole thing, because we spend so much time in the meetups doing deal structuring. That's just one aspect of the business. Yeah,
but you'll also spend a lot of time on, like the last show was on marketing, and that's important. But I just know as a apprentice. But in the beginning, I remember
see,
where
this
the
is
hell
why
is this going?
this is why you're not the apprentice.
Why, Bill?
Because what you just said.
What did I say?
Because you just pulled a rookie.
They noticed
marketing is important. We just spent an hour and 10 minutes on that last show talking about what?
Marketing.
Yeah. See, this is why you're still the rookie.
Why?
Because what business are you in?
The marketing business.
Okay, good.
No, I know that.
Not the marketing.
Huh?
It's not the marketing like it's over there. It's the entire business.
Oh, I understand. Yeah. Yeah.
If you don't have that mentality and you don't start thinking that way, that you're a marketeer buying and selling houses, then you will miss it.
Mm-hmm. It's not like going down to Home Depot and buying a shed.
Right. I wish I could do that. I wish I could go to. I talk about that in the seminars.
But they'd be full price.
Home Depot. No, I can go to Pro Desk and I can get a discount.
The discount, and then you can sell it and make like 15%.
Yeah.
Nice.
What's the matter with that?
That's if you can
15% on a $200,000 house is $30,000.
Every day. I'm in. Let's call Home Depot.
Right. I'll take 2. I'll take 3. I'll take 1. Right. All you gotta do is figure out how to just get the money together. I'll put this one on my credit card. I'll put that one on my Home Depot
we should
card.
start a new wing with them, and I'm not going to say it on the air. We're going to start a new wing, a department of Home Depot. I'm not going to say it on the air because somebody will take our idea. I'll tell you later.
Okay.
It's perfect.
Uh-oh.
It's just your dream come true, Bill. It's your dream come true.
Uh-oh. Pete's got an idea.
Dangerous. Hey, Bill, what's today's show about?
So it's a path to purchase. So, let's talk about today's path on the episode 41.
Yeah.
What I was thinking was, why don't you tell me what the path to purchase is, and I could see if you're actually qualified for the apprentice status.
Okay. Okay.
His eyes just went boing.
To be the apprentice, I don't have to know the whole thing. That'd be the pro level. I'm just going to get parts of this right.
Okay.
Instead of like not knowing anything. Well,
start.
My take on it would be the whole thing's based on steps. You have to do one step at a time, and you have to know where to start. And the first step is not buy a house. The first step is start marketing to find a motivated seller. So there's lots of ways that can be done. We talk about direct mail. We talk about putting up signs. We talk about various things you can do, handing out cards, telling people, all that stuff. But you have to find the motivated seller. That's one step. Now after that, you actually talk to the person. Are you enjoying this, Bill?
Yeah, actually I am.
You have to talk to the person. You have to call them up on the phone. You can do pre-screening. You can do all kinds of have people answer the phone for you. But nonetheless, you have to talk to people. If you don't want to talk to people, get another business. do something else. Buy on the MLS and never talk to a soul except the lawyer, the realtor, and the accountant or something. But you have to actually talk to the homeowner and find what their motivation is, if they have a problem that you can help them with. Next step is you got to go to the house and qualify the house. See if the house is okay. It could be bad. It could be poorly structured. Or the layout could be horrible. Dysfunctional is the word for it. Or a house that you just look at and you're not sure you can handle it. If it's more than you can deal with, a huge reno, you haven't done that, don't do it. But then you have to find a way to purchase the house by helping them with their problem. You have to find an offer that is good for you, but one that they will accept. So you have to make an offer to them and see if they like it. If they don't like it, make them another offer. If they don't like that, make them another offer if you can, as many as you can. One at a time, though. And make the offer that works for you. If it doesn't work for them, go home. Start again. You don't have to buy that house. The offer has to be something that works for you. At that point, buy the house. Find private money. Do owner financing. Do renovation if you have to. Find some private money. Am I getting crazy yet? And then sell the house. There you go. I'm done. I'm tired.
You're tired just talking about it?
I'm tired just talking about it because you're looking at me and I have no idea if I'm on the right track. I know those are all part of it, but I'm not sure if that's what you're thinking that you want to talk about today.
No, I think you did good.
Okay, thanks.
So I don't think you're apprentice level yet.
Oh, come on. How many people can do that? There's about 10 levels, isn't there?
Of what?
To be a pro.
Oh, I don't know. We've never done that.
Yeah, see. But, don't like, if you want to be an electrician, aren't there levels? The journeyman,
just 2 or 3.
the apprentice. Yeah, but there's levels. You don't go from 0 to 100. I'm just looking for people guidance so that they know when they achieve something.
Okay.
This is the peak. Are you tired of talking? You just want me to talk for a while today? No.
I noticed you kind of jittering around in your chair there. I don't know if you're proud of yourself of what you just said or if you're nervous at what's coming.
It's fine. I just take it. I took the blows.
So let's start at the beginning.
Yeah.
You don't spend a lot of time on this, but it is something that's important. We talk about a CTN, which is criteria, terms, and network.
Mm-hmm.
So your criteria is like what it is that you're going to buy, what it is that you like. Like some people like multifamilies, some people like single families, some people like this section of town, some people like this school system. It's where your passion lies. You should start there. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if you get some sort of a criteria, it's very important. Terms is usually one of the 7 ways that I teach you how to buy houses, which most people don't have. So terms seems easy here because I've already figured that out, the 7 ways that we buy houses. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go to flippinghouses.club, and there's 10 videos in there that will show you how I actually do that. It's about 2.5 hours worth of videos, but it's got to be probably the most enlightening thing that you'll ever watch, because I've done it to hundreds and hundreds of people, and I've never got a negative review.
No, you get dumbfounded. What?
Right.
Say that again? I mean, it's a good thing you have it on the video, because when the first several times I saw this, like, wait a minute, what piece goes where and how? Right. Why? How can you do that?
Right.
Why would they do that? And you have all these questions, but on video, you just keep watching, and they're absolutely real. It's phenomenal.
Yeah. So the terms are kind of like how are you gonna not so much. People think, terms are how you structure the deal. It's really how are you going to pay for it. That's really what it is. It's not how you structure the deal. It's actually how you're going to pay for it. Does that make sense?
No. I think structure the deal is how you pay for it. What would structuring the deal be besides paying for it? What could it include that you're excluding?
All kinds of things. I mean...
I'm just wondering, because if I don't know, somebody else doesn't know.
Right. So suppose somebody's in probate and you got to walk them through probate. That's not buying the property, is it? Does that have anything to do with money?
No.
No, it's structuring the deal. Suppose somebody has they're in a divorce, and you're working with both divorced people, and
well, I've seen you find a rental apartment for somebody so they can move in. It's just part of the overall deal, just to help facilitate all the steps. Okay, so all the extra crazy stuff you might have to do.
So structuring the deal is solving the problems. Terms are actually paying paying for the house.
Okay. Yeah. And that's good to know because they're really two separate sides. If you can solve all the problems, you can get to the terms and actually buy the house. If you don't solve the problems, you don't buy the house anyway, do you?
That's right. So to completely divert for a second, I've been in sales for a long time, and there's actually 5 steps to a sale, which we can cover someday. But one of the things that I would do when I was selling, because I sold consulting, is if I got to the money. If we were say there was the 5 steps, and step number 4 was the close.
Yeah.
And you got to the close,
mm-hmm.
right? Let me just give you the 5 steps to the sale, so I don't have to. So the first step, I don't know if I could do this off the top of my head. First step is prospect.
Find a prospect.
Second step is qualify.
Mm-hmm.
Third step is presentation.
Mm-hmm.
Fourth step is close, and then the 5th step is deliver what's promised. Yeah. So, excuse me. So, if you get to the close and the objection is money,
mm-hmm.
often you'll find out that the money is just a misdirector. It's not the real problem. The presentation didn't handle their problem.
Back up
Because the problem is never money. If somebody decides they want to do something, they will find the money almost every time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it doesn't mean that there isn't a real objection on money. You might have to help somebody get a credit card or something like that when you're doing a sale. So if you reverse that and the purchase of a house, and they get to money and money's all they want, then you may not have solved their problem, because if it's just money that they're after, money motivation, it's not enough.
They just want money.
Well, they want the money for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, technically, I was taught by a very savvy investor, and he used to tell me, the only reason why you sell a house is because you need cash, right? That's the only reason why you sell a house. Otherwise, you keep them because they're assets.
Yeah.
And they have cash flow if they're done correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's not 100% true, because you could have somebody that's upside down on a house, or somebody that has extra payments. They got 2 payments or something. So there's other reasons in that, but just keep that in the back of your head. The only reason why somebody wants to sell is because of cash.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I mean, they might be able to hang on to it and deal with it, but people may not want to do that. Deal with it, be landlords or whatever.
Yeah, well, it's the other way around. Like, suppose somebody has 2 houses. It's cash because they're paying $1,200 a month that they feel like they're just throwing it away. Yeah. So it's cash.
Because they don't live in the house. I'm saying, why don't you just rent the house for 14, make some money, and I'm thinking, maybe they don't want to do that. They don't want to be landlords. Yeah. So they're not willing to do crazy stuff that we do.
So deal structuring, to me, is dealing with the problems, and then terms is dealing with the money.
That's good. That clarifies that whole step into 2 pieces.
Right.
Because it's easier when it's broken down instead of just looking at it as a big lump.
So you have criteria, and then you have your terms. So your terms are just the money,
mm-hmm.
right? How are you going to pay for it?
Yeah.
And then the networking the network is the people that are going to support you to close on the property,
mm-hmm.
right? So those are like the right, like-minded people, like your attorney, that's not going to try to kill the deal, right? By trying to protect you because he's in terror, because the lawyer's in terror about whatever. Like, oh my God, you can't do that because this might happen and that might happen and this might happen and that might happen. Well, it's good to know that stuff, but they influence or taint your decision.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to make sure you have an attorney that understands it enough and is willing to roll along with you, and then only give you the alarming news that you shouldn't do this on real big things that are likely to happen instead of could-be's and should-be's.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, what you don't want on your team is a merchant of chaos, you don't want a merchant of chaos on your team.
Mm-hmm. But it's also true that the lawyer is not just looking out for your best interest; he's looking out for his too. Because if things fall apart, he's liable.
Yeah.
Like if he signs off on something that's fine and it isn't fine, he's in trouble. Because I've talked to lawyers and I see that they're worried about them getting in trouble.
Right.
It's not just protecting you. So when somebody says no to you, it's not, he's protecting me. Maybe he's just scared and protecting himself.
Right.
And it's a good deal, so you can't have somebody that's too afraid.
Right.
I didn't think of it that way before. He's protecting me. Well, he's got a job and he's liable. He's the authority. He said so. Then he's in trouble.
Right. So
that's your network. Part of your network.
Yeah, so the two things you don't... I was just going to tell a story, but maybe I'll come back to that based on what you just said. So an example of that is Manchester.
Yeah.
So I sold the house in Manchester, and it's kind of a little bit of a long story, but so the guy's buying the property, and we do the walkthrough, and he says there's a gas leak in the house, and I send somebody in, and there's no gas leak. So I'm like, what do I do? Natural gas. So I'm like, what do I do? It's like, well, I'll have my guy meet your guy, and it's like, it's getting all this weird shit. So finally I stopped the lawyer, and I said, stop. I'm calling the gas company, the natural gas company in the area. They're supplying me the gas. Yeah, they're supplying me gas, and I'm going to tell them I think I have a gas leak. And have them come tell me. And if the gas company says I have no gas leak, then we have no gas leak. So we did that.
Yeah.
And it worked out fine. Right? Well, while we're in the house waiting for the gas company, this guy shows up, the buyer. And we're walking around the house. Well, unbeknownst to me, I didn't realize it, but one of the rooms that we put the laminate floor in, it buckled.
Oh.
Because of the heat. Because he put the laminate floor too close to the wall. So it buckled. So I said to the guy, now we're at the day of the closing, an hour before the closing. So I said to the guy, I says, you know what, I'm going to call my lawyer and I'm going to tell him that we're going to fix this. My contractor put this in. It's incorrect what he did. He should fix it. It's a warranty that he should honor.
Sure.
Because the floor's not right. Now I didn't need to do that. I'm just doing it because that's just me. Right? Because I don't want to sell the guy. I mean, even though the guy busted my chops the whole way and he doesn't deserve this. Anyways. By the time it gets to the lawyer, they want a $3,000 escrow to fix the floor.
Which didn't even cost that much.
It didn't cost that much, number one. Number two, it was not part of the purchase and sales agreement, so there was no reason to even deal with this. So now it's just bribe money. So anyways, long story short, we negotiate like everything else, and I agree to leave $1,000 in escrow. My guy goes and fixes the floor. Everything's cool. I try to go get my escrow money, and for 3.5 weeks, the buyer's attorney disappears, and they got my $1,000. Actually, my lawyer has my $1,000, but he can't release it until the other lawyer says yes. Okay, so we go back and forth. I'm pounding on my lawyer because I'm like, what the hell? You know what I mean? This is just bullshit. I mean, it's not even about the $1,000. It's just something I got to deal with every 2 or 3 days. Like, did he call? Did he this? It's like something I got to keep track of. I don't want to do that.
No, you shouldn't have to do any of that stuff.
Well, 3.5 weeks later, he sends an email with an invoice attached. They found in the attic, they found some sort of a paintbrush, like in a paint can. They found something in the basement. I forgot, I think it was a toboggan or something. I don't even know where it came from. And they found like a chair in the basement, like a old wooden chair.
My God.
There was 3 things, and they actually billed me $350 to remove the rubbish out of the house, and they took it out of my $1,000. So I'm arguing with the lawyer, and at this point nobody's getting paid, so nobody wants to deal with it.
Don't they have to get agreement, like on both sides, to do things like that?
Evidently not.
But I mean, just legally, it doesn't sound legal. Just here's your bill.
It's not. Yeah. So I get aggravated with it after a week because nobody wants to deal with it because my attorney's not getting paid for it. The other attorney's not getting paid for it. It's just a pissing match now. Long story short, I said to the attorney, just give me my $650. He screwed me. Okay? Well, karma works. Big time. I'm not talking about your dog.
You're not talking about my dog here.
No. Month goes by, 2 months go by, and I get a bill in the mail from the tax office. From Manchester, say that I owe taxes. I'm like, I owe taxes. I sold that house. So I'm like, I get heated under the collar, right? So I think it was $1,400 or $1,700 or something like that. I don't remember what it was. So what happens is I call the lawyer. He's not there. And I'm like, I'll just pull out the settlement statement. Out of the file. I pull out the settlement statement, and I realized that they didn't pay the taxes at the closing.
They forgot to do that? Ooh.
So this guy made so much noise about this floor, which is irrelevant, because he's trying to steal money. He was trying to negotiate the money.
Yeah. Trying to nickel and dime you.
Yeah. He was a landlord, or actually a scumlord, and he was just doing it the old-fashioned way, just like the guy that we met the other day. He's just nickel and diming you. Mm-hmm. Okay? Well, the taxes weren't paid. So
Now, is that for the time you had it or the time
Yeah.
going forward?
no, the time I had it.
Okay.
So so they should have been paid because they were paid in the arrears or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, the taxes weren't paid.
Hmm.
Okay. So my attorney calls me and says, okay, what are you going to do? And so I'm going to tell you the first thing I'm going to do, and I'm never like this. I am never like this. I confront everything immediately. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
I said, the first thing we're going to do is you can't find me for 3.5 weeks. And he starts laughing. I'm like, the hell with him. What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Yeah.
So I waited about a month, and they kept emailing and calling, and I tell the attorney, tell him you can't get a hold of me. Or tell him I haven't answered you. I never answer. I don't want the attorney to lie. Just tell him I haven't answered you.
Mm-hmm.
Tell him you spoke to me and he doesn't have an answer. Doesn't know what he's going to do. Because that's the truth.
Yep.
Well, 4 weeks later, I went to Manchester, and I paid the tax bill. Minus $350.
So what happens then?
So he sent my attorney an email saying that if I didn't pay it by December 27th, that he was going to take me to court.
Mm.
And I said to my attorney, I said, so what are you going to do? Now, my attorney's all like freaked out about this.
When we go to court?
I'm like, okay. He says, what are you going to do? I said, go to court. He said, really? No, he's going to take me to small claims court for $350. Yeah, I'm just going to go myself. Okay. And right off the plate. But he was all freaked out about it, and that's the point of the story. It's a long story. I took probably too much time telling the story. But the point is that it was karma, and I never do stuff like that. I never, ever do stuff like that. And he never took me to court. He did nothing. It was a scare tactic.
Mm.
My point is that my lawyer was on my team because he did what I told him to do. And he didn't give me a hard time. He's like, well, you shouldn't do that. I'm like, I know, but I'm doing it anyways. Just as long as you know. And that's it. He was on my team. So you have to have somebody on your team.
Mm-hmm.
If they're not adding value to your closing, then they shouldn't be there. You know, and I mean closing for buying or closing for selling.
Mm-hmm.
If they're not adding value to your closing, same way with your jobs. You know, you got construction guys. If they're not adding value, if they're not coming to work and they're progressing the job, they got to go. You don't want troublemakers. If you get on the job and everybody's fighting, there's somebody in that group that's creating all the fighting.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to put up with any of that in your life.
Right.
People talk about that, it's all beating up. Surround yourself with positive people. Of course.
Right.
Why would you do it in your business?
Right. So we're half an hour in, and we seem like we're spending a lot of time on this. Well, having your criteria, having your terms sorted out in your head, and having your network is vital.
Yeah.
Now, you can work on those as you go through things, and you should watch my training, and you should watch some of, read books and other training or whatever, so you can figure it out. I'm not saying that I'm the only solution, because that's not true. You should figure that out, and at least get a basic idea. Like, I want to buy houses in Wallingford, Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing that right now. I want to buy houses in Newington, Connecticut.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a criteria. The terms are easy because, like I said, I figured those out, and you're working in a network. Now, you don't need all of these to get involved, because this is the point of the show, is the path to purchase.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to how you rattled off in the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
First thing you need to do is you need to get some marketing out there. So we talked about this in great length in show number 41, which is called Deal Hunting. Okay, you should go listen to that show, because that was awesome. I feel like that was one of the best shows we've ever done.
We had fun.
Yeah. So, deal hunting is knowing how to find the deals. It's all about marketing. The basic truth there is that you have to match your message to your market, and when you do that, then you will get people start calling you. Okay. So the first thing is figure out your CTN. Second thing is figure out your marketing. What's your criteria? How do they match?
Mm-hmm.
So you got that. So the criteria and your market have to match.
Yep.
So if you say I want to buy single-family houses in Wallingford, Connecticut, then what do you got to market for single-family houses in Wallingford, Connecticut? I don't want to be marketing in Meriden for multifamily houses.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because it doesn't work that way.
Right.
Okay. So, it does work that way, except you're going to get the wrong calls.
It's not what you're looking for.
Right. So it doesn't match your criteria. Right. So Just make sure that your market and your marketing is the same as your criteria. That's why we bring that up first. So just have an idea of what that is.
Yeah, it sounds simple, but I want to buy houses. What kind of houses? I don't know. Houses. No, It's not. You have to pick. You have to pick and choose.
Well, as we spoke about on number 41, deal hunting, show number 41, deal hunting, the way you're going to buy a house is to make offers to motivated sellers. Right? And the way you're going to find motivated sellers is, and the definition of motivated in this particular point is that a person has a problem that you're going to help them solve, and that problem is going to entail a house. So usually what happens is the house is creating a problem. Like probate. Mom and dad passed away, the house is full of all their shit for 50 years, and now I got to spend my weekends going over there cleaning it out and getting rid of it. And yeah, I would love to get my 50 grand, but I don't want to spend all summer cleaning the house up.
True case.
That's a real live problem with a house causing it.
Mm-hmm.
Another one might be divorce. We're getting a divorce, and one spouse wants to go one way, the other spouse wants to go the other way, and who's going to pay the mortgage? Right?
Yep.
House is in the way. Another good example would be talking about divorce. I mean, there's a lot of second marriages. I mean, I'm in a second marriage. I had no idea I was going to get divorced the first time. My first wife, we were together 16 years, decided she wanted a divorce. Ironically enough, we got divorced, which I didn't believe in, but we did. And she went 15 years, Peter. 15 years, never dated anybody. Not a guy, a girl, a dog, nothing. She didn't date nothing.
Wow.
She just didn't want to be married.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why. I mean, I have my ideas, but I don't know why.
You must have wore her down, Bill.
I guess so. So, anyway, so I'm in a second marriage.
Yeah.
Right? So what happens in second marriages are second relationships. Now you got two people that maybe in their 40s or 50s or maybe later, right? They've been living just fine, right? They have their own house. Now all of a sudden, they're at one house or the other, and they've got one house too many, and they got two mortgage payments. Is it a problem? No. They just don't want to make an extra mortgage payment. Then all of a sudden, one day they wake up and it's like, I'm spending $2,000 a month on holding that house over there, and we don't hardly ever go over there. We should get rid of it.
Yeah.
So it's not like a problem, like a disaster, but it's a problem, and the house is creating it.
Well, it's one thing to live in a house and sell it, and when you sell the house, you move out. It's one thing to have it just sitting there month after month after month.
I was in the car business for a bunch of years, and we had this term called lot rot.
Ah.
And if the cars sat too long, they develop problems. Well, the same thing happens with house rot. When a house sits vacant, it develops leaks and heat problems, and things just happen because it's not lived in. Because I don't know why, I can't explain it, but it just happens. If you don't live in a house, then things just happen. They don't like to be vacant.
Yeah. Yep.
Little things happen. Toilets and water leaks and heat, and not to mention it keeps your attention. You got to constantly go over there, especially in New England where we are. You got to pay attention to the heat, and the pipe's frozen, and plow the driveway and cut the grass, and just a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
So those are situations where you have someone that has a problem. So if your criteria and your market if your criteria and your message matches that market, now you can start making offers to those people. Right? So we talked about at the end of the show, deal hunting, which is number 41, and I really, really, really wish you would go back and listen to that show because it's a good show. If you're doing a good job with all of that, okay, what will happen is you'll start to buy houses. Because what you'll realize is the only thing a seller wants in the beginning, and the answer that most people say when I say, what does a seller want? They'll say, well, they want to sell their house. That's not true. What they want is they want an offer first before they sell it. Because let's just mock up a scenario. You got a $200,000 house. Well, we had a house that we looked at with that guy. That he had he thought a $200,000 house. I made him an offer for $92,000.
Yeah, he liked that offer.
No. So what did he want first?
You want to hear the numbers?
He wanted to know that $92,000 was my number. That's the offer.
Yeah.
Well, we landed at $150,000. That's where we're at right now.
That was his number.
Well, that's where we landed, but yeah.
Yeah.
My point is that the only thing a seller wants is an offer. All right, so let's back up because we're going through steps here.
Mm-hmm.
First thing is the criteria, the terms of the network. We call it the CTN.
Yeah.
Once you figure that out, the next thing you need to do is take your criteria and match it, make a message, like I do this, and then send it to your market.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they all align, then people are going to be like, oh, maybe he can help me.
Yeah.
Right? Then they start calling you. Okay?
They do.
They start calling you.
Because no one else is calling you.
In droves. They start calling you. Because if you match the message to your market, you're going to be taught, you're going to get involved in the conversation they already have in their head. You're going to be in the middle of that conversation. Like, how am I going to deal with this probate house? What am I going to do about this? Right? Which, by the way, I'm going to throw in a little caveat now. Okay? Because this is important. This is we did a whole workshop on this. Your words are vital. But the caveat here is do not call yourself a real estate investor. Because what is the connotation of an investor?
That's somebody who's trying to make money. Usually in real estate, it's buy low, sell high.
Right.
And they think he's just here to get money, and it's all about the money, and then no one's going to win.
So, to shorten that up, when I hear, oh, you're a real estate investor, I don't want to sell low.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't afford you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So what we call ourselves is professional home buyers. Or professional property buyers, however you do it.
Yeah.
What you really need to categorize yourself is as an entrepreneur, not an investor.
Mm-hmm.
An investor is someone that like goes on the stock market, here's my $5,000, where's my return?
Yeah, he just puts the money in for the money back.
So this is a little bit of a thing in my head, like, why do people do this? Because they say I'm a real estate investor. The first thing I'll ask, and I don't do this because it's antagonistic, so Pete will tell me, well, let's do it. You tell
Go
me.
ahead. What? I'm a real estate investor.
So do you have money?
No.
Then what are you investing?
Damn, you got me.
See?
Yeah. I had a business card years ago. I wanted to do this years ago. Real estate investor with my phone number on it. That's all it said. And I look at it, I threw them away. I was like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
And it's really the wrong term.
So what's the right term? You're a real estate...
Deal maker.
Yeah, that's my name.
Well, it's really what the real thing is that you know how to put a deal together.
Nope.
No?
Nope.
All right, go ahead.
You're right. That's only part of it, though.
Yeah?
You're a real estate entrepreneur.
Yeah.
What do entrepreneurs do? They use their available resources to get a product.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're a real estate entrepreneur. So start naming yourself correctly. What do you do? I'm a real estate entrepreneur. Oh, really? What is that? Oh, yeah. I help people, sell houses and buy houses. And oh, so you're a realtor? No, I purchase them myself.
Mm.
See how that flows?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah,
But
to say that you're a realtor.
instead of saying I'm a real estate investor,
Oh, yeah.
oh, so you're one of those guys that buy low, sell high. That's what it's like a red label. It's like a tag.
Yeah, well, that's what an investor has to do. He has to buy something at a price he can sell.
Right.
I can buy the pencil for 3 cents and sell it for 5.
And if you watch my videos on flippinghouses.club, you realize that the 7th offer that we do, which is owner financing, I buy a $240,000 house. I pay $260,000 for it. It's worth $240,000. I pay $260,000, and I sell it for $260,000 and make $84,000. Am I an investor?
No, you're smart with whatever you did with that house.
I'm an entrepreneur because I took the available resources that I had
Mm-hmm.
and I used them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? What are the available resources? My network.
Right. Well, on one end there's the seller, the other end there's the buyer. There's everything in the middle, and there's what strikes me interesting about this is if two people buy a house from each other, there's no room for profit because it's either coming from me or coming from you. But we don't live in the houses, so there's a third person involved, and that's in a way the end user who might be doing a lease. We might renovate it. That's something happening, and someone else buys it. So there's money from the third person coming in based on the work we do. If it's a lease, that's where the money's coming from. So you're not battling with the owner to try to squeeze money out of him, the guy who's trying to sell you the house, and he's on the defensive otherwise. This guy's trying to get. It comes from someplace
So let me
else.
simplify that for you a whole lot. Okay.
I'm on the right track, though, right?
Yeah. So I want to simplify that for you a whole lot. I think there's only two ways you can add value to a deal. That's either the renovation, like you add value to the property,
Right, the property itself.
or you add value to the deal with terms.
Yeah.
Those are the only two ways you can add value.
Yeah.
So you add value to your seller by giving them more money if they give you terms,
Yeah.
and you add value to your buyer by getting them into a house that they normally wouldn't be able to buy.
Right.
Right. So the add value. So if you're rehab and retailing, then you add value by taking an ugly house and making it pretty.
Mm-hmm.
If you're buying a free and clear house, you can add value because you can. In my case, I paid an extra $20,000 for the house, and believe it or not, some people don't want the money. Some people don't want the money. Because they have tax problems and they don't want it all at once and they don't want the tax liabilities.
Yeah, on a full sale, cash all at once.
Right.
Yeah.
So now let's back up because I know this is a theory now and maybe that's not what you guys were expecting with this show, but Peter pretty much you got it right on how you're going to do it, and we'll do that before we end off. We'll just rattle off the steps to buying a house. Okay. So. If your market and your message are matched and you got your criteria right and you want to buy free and clear houses, maybe your message should be, how do you sell your house without tax ramifications? Now that message will get into the middle of the conversation they're already having in their head. Now, if there's 100 sellers out there, you might only be marketing to 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 instead of 20 or 30 or 50 like we normally like to do. But if that's your criteria, so what? I mean, we have a guy in our coaching group that is hooked in with the state of Connecticut, and they have resources that lease rooms to veterans.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's his criteria. So he's out looking for buildings that are $4 million, $3 million, $5 million, and they're like nursing homes. And he's out. That's his criteria. And he's got the network to back him up, and he's building, and I help him with the terms on these deals. That's his CTN.
That's very wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like he's all in.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
But if you take your criteria, your terms, and your network, and they match your message to your market, now what you're going to do is, because what is the thing they say about computers? Crap in, crap out?
Yeah.
Well, this is the same term here. So now we're going to be getting calls from people that are willing to hear what we have to say. Right? So the next thing we do is once we start receiving, so once you do your message to market match and you get it out there, whether it be direct mail, yellow signs, postcards, internet, whatever it may be. Mm-hmm. Okay? Once we do that, now we're going to start getting calls in. So then we go through the whole process of, we have the form called the Prospect Suspect form, which you can get online at flippinghouses.club/podcast. It's the only place the link is. You can get it free. You can download the form there. And we start qualifying whether they're a prospect or a suspect. Right?
Yeah. You go through that, ask lots of questions.
Right.
Get to know what's going on with the person, see what their motivation is.
So the only reason for the only purpose of the prospect suspect form is to find out how motivated they are.
Mm-hmm.
Are they motivated or aren't they motivated? Which, by the way, the suspects, we whack them. That's a Ron LeGrand saying.
Mm-hmm.
You whack the suspects, right? What does that mean?
Just drop them.
Not to me. That means they go into my follow-up file because time changes everything.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe a month from now or a year from now, they might change their tune and might want you to make an offer. So you should stay in communication with them once a month, once every 3 months, whatever. You still mail them yellow letters. You don't take them off your mailing list, especially if they called you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
They were doing a second round in town, and the wife was thinking, "Oh, this isn't working," and then boom, some really good names come in.
Yep.
Time changes everything.
Testing.
I showed up yesterday at the house. Hey, Ed, how's the house? Oh, she's moving out now. You want to come see me now?
Yeah.
And I hopped in the car. Literally, I was at the desk. I made the call. I'll be right there. In 15 minutes, I was at the house.
Yeah.
And I almost didn't. Well, no, I did call him. I was
When you sent a letter 3 months ago, he wouldn't even consider it.
No,
Yeah.
I'm sure I probably sent him one. A few months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's been tested with some very smart people that most people don't see your ad for at least 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta send at least 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So, that's my history or my knowledge. So, you should just keep mailing. Okay?
I haven't seen McDonald's stop advertising.
Yeah, exactly. And everybody knows.
Like
what
you don't know where it is,
is.
and they still advertise. We advertise. We know you're there.
Yeah. To remind you.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, but that's the point, though. They just keep hammering.
Right. All right. So let's back up again. So we have our criteria, we have our terms, we have our network. It's kind of like, a loose little thing in our head, okay, which I want to add to that because one thing that I have noticed is when you start doing your marketing, okay, you're not going to know what's going to come in.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, here's what's going to happen. You're going to do it, one deal is going to fall in your lap. And you're going to do that deal. Maybe it's a subject to deal. Maybe it's
it can be
slot deal.
It can be whatever.
Could be a wholesale deal. Because it's your first deal, you're going to feel confident about that deal, and you're going to look for more of those deals.
Yeah.
So you're going to kind of become a specialist in that deal.
Uh-huh.
So that's going to change your criteria because your criteria might be like your criteria might have been at first, I just want to make money. Well, now you've done a complete renovation, you'll be like, I want to look for renovated properties. Okay, so it could change. But I'm trying to make a point here, and maybe I feel like I'm not getting it across. The point is that your criteria, your terms, and your network have everything to do with your message and your marketing. That has everything to do with who's going to call you. That has everything to do with how you're going to get your offers created. And if it's not a straight line where they all match up, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to be looking at too many properties, or it's going to take you too long to do a deal.
Yeah, just going over the criteria in your head. I mean, luckily, when you do mail to like your town, it's mostly houses. It isn't all
Right.
kinds of crazy other stuff. But I also notice that people say, "Oh, I want to do wholesaling," or "I want to do this, I want to do that." Well, I hate to tell you, but you'll do whatever comes your way.
Right.
So I heard you explain that to somebody a year ago.
Right.
Whatever comes in, because you have 7 ways to make an offer. Whatever comes in, your criteria is any one of those if you feel like it.
Right.
And the other person, I just want to do 1 out of 7. Why would you limit yourself? Now, if you're really uncomfortable with some of those, okay, start with the easy ones.
Right.
But if something good comes across your lap, there it is. What are you going to do?
All right. So let's take what you just said for example. I want to wholesale.
Yeah.
So who are you going to market to?
Is it a house?
I don't know. You said it.
Yeah, a house. Well, say you wholesale a house. So probably contractors.
Why?
Because if I'm wholesaling it, it's probably an ugly house, that needs renovation. And I have to pay the full amount the guy's asking for. Because they usually don't do terms on those things. And maybe you could, but I haven't seen that yet. If you could, I don't know about that way. And it's usually an ugly house. Well, let's put it this way. The first thing I tried was a wholesale because I didn't care what I was doing as long as I was practicing and learning whether I got the deal or not. And it was contractors because it was a mess of a house. So that's why I marketed it.
I just had an unbelievable idea.
Okay.
Oh my God! I'm not going to talk about it. I can't. I'm
Right.
like I'm not even in this room right now.
Write that on a piece of paper.
I don't know why you just said what you just said.
Huh?
I don't know why you just said what you just said.
Why I did?
Yeah.
Well, you asked me how I would sell a wholesale property.
How would you find a wholesale property?
How would I find it?
Yeah, how you start talking about a
Oh.
contractor.
No, I thought you said how would I sell it.
Oh.
That's what hit me like that.
How would you
How
find
would I
that
find?
seller? That's
Oh.
what I said.
Oh, I thought you meant
I
like.
think that's what I said. Anyways.
Well, anyway.
So how would
So-
you find that seller?
I found it by accident through you, so I don't have a good answer right now.
So how would you find that seller?
Well, if you do your normal marketing, what I understand it would be a house that needed renovation.
Okay.
But it would have to be to actually look for that guy.
How would you find that seller?
Specific? Burnt out landlords.
Yeah, okay. So can you call up the list company and say, send me a burnt out landlord list?
No, that's what you know.
Okay,
That's
good.
that's
So
the
how
kind
would
of
you find that seller?
an ad. Burnt out. I buy burnt out
Do you
landlord
see what's
houses.
happening right now?
Yeah.
So your criteria, your terms of network, now has to be put into your message
Yeah.
and your market. So I'm just asking you, how do you find that market?
Yeah. That's not my criteria, so I don't have that sorted out.
But if you don't, you see what happens?
Yeah, you don't know how to do it. But see, I want a wholesale house. How are you going to do it? I don't know. Sure.
So maybe you could, maybe what you would market to, if you want a wholesale, because you got to buy it at a deep discount at a wholesale. So
Yeah.
So now you're not talking to a motivated seller. Wholesale deals are not motivated sellers.
Are they
They're
desperate?
desperate sellers. So now you're down into Liz Pendens, foreclosures, pre-foreclosures, right? Bankruptcy. See what I'm saying?
You know what's funny? I heard about this over a year ago at one of the seminars you go to before we started working, right? And this guy got up and said, I live in Atlanta, I come from here and there, and I did this and I did that, and I bought it for this. They showed you how they did the deal, said nothing about how to find them,
Right.
nothing about how to sell them.
Right.
Just like, I got this deal, look, and you go, yeah, I'm going to do that too. Well,
Right.
where the hell's it going to come from?
Right.
It'll come flying out of your
And
butt.
this is
Seriously.
exactly where we're calling this a path to a purchase.
You can't just take
Because
a snippet.
if these things are not lined up,
Yeah. How do you start?
how do you do it?
Yeah.
So you can't say I'm a wholesaler. Okay, so you're a wholesaler. Just do the drill like we just did.
Yeah.
Where are you going to find that buyer? Where's that market? Where can I go find that market and say, hey, I'm a professional home buyer. Can we talk?
Where are they going? Where are people?
Where do you find them?
I have no idea what people really try on that one because I've heard a lot of people say that because he probably went to the same seminar I did.
Right.
That looks good. I can make $5,000 without having to work very much.
Right.
Ain't the way it is.
Right. Exactly. That make sense?
Yeah, everybody wants to make money being a middleman. Get a job.
Well, you can do it.
You can, but my point is something that they want to be I got to think about middlemen. If you want to get like a plumber, an electrician, music lessons, you go on these websites. They want money to hook you up.
Right.
Get out of my way. I can get my own clients for other jobs that I do. But there's middlemen in the middle just trying to make money, making money. Like, why don't you do the music lessons?
Right.
So I think people are looking at that as a way to make almost free money. This guy sells me. This guy's not spending money, but it's it'll happen once in a while.
Yeah, you got bad thinking there.
Me personally?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You're talking about like Groupon or one of those places, right? Where they bring people to you and they charge you a fee.
Some of those aren't so bad. Some of them are horrible. They're in
So-
Texas, getting in my way, in my
So
face here.
Let's not get too much, but the reason why you would hire somebody like that and pay the fee is because you don't know how to market yourself and find those people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's either you pay the marketing guy
Mm-hmm.
to do the ads that you think are going to work,
Mm-hmm.
or you actually pay somebody a piece of the action because they brought you a lead.
Well, nowadays you need that. Before all this happened, several years ago, personally, I was totally fine without that because they didn't get, there was nothing going on, just local
Well, the
guys.
internet changed
Now
everything.
the internet changed everything. So you're lost with a guy in Texas, a guy in San Francisco, a guy in Boston marketing, and you're here in your hometown. Like, why am I competing with some guy in Texas?
Right.
So it's a different thing to me. But the mentality is, I think, 'cause I've talked to some of these people, they
Right.
think they can make money without having to do too much.
That's right.
And it's just, it's like, I don't want to do more than I have to, but you got to be willing to do some work.
Right.
And if you don't know where to find the deal, sell the deal, what's going to happen? You quit. Most people have told me that they want a wholesale. I don't see them anymore. They're gone.
Right.
Doesn't work out that easy.
Well, because the only place that you're going to find a wholesale deal is probably on the MLS. And everybody can do that. I mean, I've got a guy that we were dealing with that says he wants to be a wholesaler, right?
Yeah.
And he was just showing us MLS deals. They weren't wholesale deals. They were MLS deals. I mean, my realtor could do that. I don't need to do that.
Yeah. He was just trying to get a number where there's a little.
I can call my realtor right now on the phone while we're on the call and say, hey, can you set me up for it? And she goes in the computer, and 5 minutes later, I'll get emails every time that happens.
Yeah.
On the MLS. You can easily do that. Okay?
It just seems impractical.
Right.
But if it falls in your lap and it's there, it's fine.
So basically, the 4 steps that you need to follow for a path to purchase are A, or 1, find a way to communicate to a motivated seller. Find that way. Whatever it is, just like we just did. Find a way. You want to be a wholesaler? Find a way to communicate to somebody that will sell you a house for 30, 40, 50 cents on a dollar.
Yeah.
Find a way to do that. However it may be. Maybe it's mailing to foreclosure list. Maybe it's mailing, maybe it's going to the courthouse every day and getting, whatever. Find a way to communicate to that seller. Right?
Yeah.
Second step. Let them know what you do. Let that seller know that this is what I do. Right?
You can help them with their problem.
Right.
You know how to do it.
Exactly. Third step is find out what's needed and wanted from them. Right? Find out what they want.
Yeah.
What problem could you solve? Fourth step is produce it.
Yeah, do it.
Give it to them. Seems too simple, right? It's the path to success.
So there's many steps to each part, but that has to be the core. It has to be. I'm thinking, that's good, Bill, but that doesn't tell people how to do it. But that's what you have to start as your core and build around that.
So now you take those 4 steps and you talk about your criteria, terms, and network. Then the next thing you do is you figure out, okay, well, where is my market and what message do I want to deliver to them? Okay. Now, in our particular case, we have a certain letter that we mail to a certain list, and it works. I've been using it for 5 years, and I don't do any of the marketing. It's all I do. Okay. Once the phone calls start coming in, so that's finding a way to communicate to them.
Yeah.
Is step 1.
Yeah.
Step 2. What's step 2? Let them know what we do, right? Once they start calling in, with the exception of direct mail, if I use anything else other than direct mail, I send people back to a pre-recorded message.
Right.
And what does it do?
Well, that explains
What I do.
5-6 minutes. We do this, we do that. That's how we do it. We can do this. Yeah, it just explains so they have some information.
If you don't do that, and by the way, if you want to do that, I use freedomvoice.com. You can also use hostednumbers.com. They're a little bit more money, but you can use those two ways to do that.
Yep.
Once they start calling you, you want to pre-screen them a little bit because some people don't know what you do. So you don't want to, every time you answer the phone, tell them, well, this is what I do, and then tell your story 500 times a week.
Oh, that'll last long. That won't last long.
Right. 30 or 40 phone calls and you get burned out. So you want some sort of an automated way to figure out this, to tell them this is what I do. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to figure out, okay, I want to chase wholesale houses. Second thing you're going to do is you're going to figure out, okay, where are they? Okay? And then the third thing you want to do is find out what message do I want to tell them that will make them want to call me. Then when they call you, you want to make sure that they know what you do. Okay? At that point, they'll leave their name, phone number, whatever they're going to do, however they're going to contact you, right? At that point, you're going to call them back with a prospect-suspect form and let them know this is what is possible. I could do a lease option, I could do a slot deal, I could do a subject to deal, I could do whatever. And you don't go over them in detail. You just let them know I can help you if you're willing to hear me. That's step number 2. Okay.
Yeah.
Step number 3, you find out what's needed and wanted, right?
Yeah.
So what you do is you go out to the house at that point. You qualify the house. Is it dysfunctional? Does it have like a bedroom where you got to walk through it to get to another bedroom? Are there closets in the bedroom? Is it, there's all kinds of different things. I mean, we live in New England, so there's a lot of 1900 houses, 1800, 1900 houses, built in 1800 or 1900s, right? And they're dysfunctional. You got to knock walls down and do things to these houses that not a lot of places in the country do. At that point, once you find out that the house is qualified, you then start talking about your terms. And you start talking about, well, how do you want to get your money?
That's when you need to know how they need it or what they need to do with it so you can structure it correctly for them.
Right. So in step number 3 is you ask them what they want. Well, I want $150,000. Okay, how do you want that money? What do you want it for?
What do you do with the money when you move?
You see what I'm saying? And they say, well, I really don't need it. Well, would you consider an investment? And then you start talking terms. Or, like one time I found out that a girl needed $20,000 to pay off some college tuition, but didn't need the rest of the money. So if I were to give you the $20,000 for your daughter, would you? Yeah, I'll do that. But if you find out what's needed and wanted, step 4 is your offer.
Yeah, then you can build it around what they really need.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. If you were to give your offer in step 1, what would happen?
Oh, they're going to say no.
If you were to give your offer at step 2, what would happen?
They still kick you out.
And if you were to give your offer at step 3, what would happen?
It's just too early.
See what I'm saying?
Sure.
So
you don't know what to say. It's not just a number. You're not buying, a hamburger.
Until you know what their problem is, and you know what the house is doing to them, what pain it's causing, you may not be ready to make an offer. And it sounds like theory, but if you listen to me, it's too simple. A lot of people won't listen to me. I'm telling you. Remember, I told you the last show. We can explain exactly what to do, but people won't listen. They'll try to change it.
Yep.
Do those 4 steps. Find a way to communicate to a motivated seller. Tell them what you do and how you do it. Listen to what they want and need, and then make them an offer. And you will buy a house.
It's crazy some of the details you get into with people. Like you just said, you need $20,000 for tuition. Well, gee, how would I know that? You talk to people.
Yeah.
Actually, if you shut up, you find out all kinds of stories. You'd be surprised what people will tell you if you just are interested and care a little bit.
You got 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. You should listen twice as much as you talk.
Yeah. You keep both eyes focused and watch and listen.
And all the stuff that we talk about, that's how to do it. And that's your path to purchase. Find out how to communicate to a motivated seller. Tell them what you can do. Ask them what they need and want, and then give it to them.
Wow. You're right, Bill.
I wasn't trying to be right.
You're still right.
But thank you.
You're still right. That's true. And if you build everything around that, you'll succeed.
Yeah.
There's always details, but that's the core.
Yeah. But if you don't have your criteria lined up with your message to market, lined up with how you're going to receive the calls, then you're not ready. And we go through, this is all the stuff we talk about. This is all stuff that's on my website. This is what the meetups are all about, is getting all the pieces and parts together. Unfortunately, I have this ugly thing that gets in the way all the time. It's the human mind. And people think what they should be doing. And they have no idea what they should be doing.
Are you saying the mind's a terrible thing, Bill?
Sometimes.
No.
Does that make sense?
Of course.
So that's your path to purchase. Did I cover it? Is it clear?
Yeah.
Nice and clear. We're going to have to do this again.
Yeah. Well, no, that is it, though. What I got out of this in the last show is just being more attentive to look for the person's problem.
Yeah.
I mean, I talk to people. I start thinking it could be this, it could be that. And I start hearing things. But just to be more focused, because that's the only way we can really help them. Like anything. You go to the doctor, what's your problem? This hurts. That hurts. He has to figure out what it is. Mm-hmm. Realize all the search you have to do. Or my car makes a funny noise. My brakes are making a funny noise. I think the caliper's banged up. Something's wrong with it.
So
how do you find
I
that
want
out?
I want to make a comment to you. I'm going to hurt your feelings.
You are?
Yeah. So the problem with you is sometimes you think you know best, Or you think you know it? Like with this guy that we were in the house with, you thought you knew it.
Mm-hmm. No, I thought I knew enough to pull strings, but
Okay.
yeah. I mean, he says something. I think that's it.
And there's nothing wrong with that. That's kind of a common thing. But here's what you didn't do that I did do.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, you ask questions. I ask different questions. I get all that. So we're different that way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But here's what I did do. I said to him, so, let me get this straight. You want to sell the house, and you want to do this, and you want to do that, and you want to do this. And I repeated his problem to him and said, is that right?
Mm.
I asked him if I got the problem right.
Mm. Good.
And you don't do that, or I haven't seen you do that.
Mm-hmm.
You ask them. So let me see if I get this straight. You're getting divorced, and you need to sell the house by March 10th. Is that correct? Yes. Okay, good. Now we're both on the same page.
Mm.
You manufactured that he told you that he wants to retire in 5 years and his knees are bothering him. He doesn't want to be a landlord. When I sat with him in the donut shop, what did he say? I love my job. He said it 3 times.
Yeah.
So the data you're giving me and the data he's giving me are contradictory, and you believe that you had his ruin or his problem.
Mm-hmm.
You thought you had it, but he's telling me an hour later that he loves his job.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense either. He's going into surgery in 2 weeks.
Okay.
He can barely function,
but he still
likes
loves
it.
his job.
He still likes it.
He still loves his job. So what you got to do is you got to make an offer with him that plays into his end game.
Hmm.
Okay. So what I got out of this, here's what I got out of this,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're gonna go. Okay. Because we're at an hour and 5 minutes. Here's what I got out of this. What he doesn't want to do is renovate that property.
Yeah.
Because he asked me 3 times, will you renovate it and charge me?
Yeah.
He actually said that was in actual
he said
words.
It to me the first time I was in there. Like I said, I don't know. No one's ever said that to me.
So you had his problem,
Yeah.
and you skimmed right over it because you thought you knew what his problem was, and you stopped looking.
Through me because no one's ever said that to me. Like,
So
and
you
I actually
get what I just said.
Yes, it threw my attention more onto me.
Mr. Educator.
Yeah.
Mr. Educator. What's the first barrier to learning?
Willing to learn.
The first barrier to learning. What's the first barrier to learning?
The thinking you know it all.
Thinking you already know it.
Think you know, yeah. That
So
one.
okay. So let's take that.
If you think you know everything, you're not going to ask questions.
So you thought you had his ruin, and you didn't ask questions. You thought you already knew it.
No. Well, in all fairness, I thought I had enough on the phone to at least make a visit, and I was trying to let you do more of the talking and try to stay out of the way a little bit.
Right.
I would have tried more on my own, but you're better at it still, and I'm learning by watching.
So there's a big
talk.
difference between thinking you know it and him saying, yes, that's it.
No,
Because very often I'll say, so let me see if I get this straight, blah, 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 blah. Well, no, not really. Oh, what is it then? And they'll go, blah, blah, blah. Okay, good, I got it now.
Yeah, I'm hearing you now. I'm hearing that pretty good.
You know what I mean?
You know how this works? I can figure out the first step, right? And then you can tell me 15 steps, and I can get the first one. When I really get the first one, I think I can hear the second one.
Yeah.
And I think I'm smart. You have to find the problem. But I'm one step further now because you have to ask them, is this it? That's crazy.
You just quote when you're poking around and you're not sure, you say, or you just say, so divorces, you got to sell by March 10th. Well, not really. Okay, well, what is it? Actually, I want to buy another house, and I don't know how to do that.
Hmm.
So if I were to help you buy another house, would you sell me this house? Bam!
Mm-hmm.
Done! It's not hard.
No, but the biggest takeaway is you really have to talk to people.
Yes.
Folks, you're not trying to guess what it is or figure it out like sneakily try to find out without them knowing. They have to know what you're looking for.
So
they're the only one that's
we're
tell
way
you.
too late into the show to talk about this. Maybe we'll talk about this, but
Episode 42.
I just agreed with you, but I don't agree with you. Because
what?
you don't have to just talk to people. You got to really be in communication. You got to understand them. You got to feel what they feel. You got to really be there in present time, working with them.
Asking more than talking. I don't mean talking. I mean asking.
You got to be involved, and you have to realize that when they throw you a misdirector, because they're going to do that it's a misdirector or a comment.
Mm-hmm.
their originations are not always originations. Like, my knees hurt and I need to get an operation. That was a misdirector. It had nothing to do with his real problem. His real problem was, I don't want to renovate this house.
And he's going to have to, if not now, in 5 years when he goes. And yeah, you're right. That's interesting.
The misdirector was, I need to get a knee operation and I want to retire.
Yeah, this hurts, that hurts. I mean, they say all these things.
And you believed them. And you stopped looking because you thought you already had it. Now, if you think you have it, then you say, so let me see if I get this straight. The reason why you're selling this house is because.
Yeah. The reason you're selling this house is because. The reason you're selling this house is because. The reason you're selling this. I'm practicing.
All right, good.
It's because.
So does that make sense?
No, that's good.
All right, we got into some heavy shit there at the end. All right, Peter. So, third Wednesday of the month, 128
Center Street.
Center Street, Wallingford. We do a live meeting. Usually around 30 people there. I give away a lot more at the meetings than I do on the podcast. So if you're local, then you can do that. If for some reason you're like in another country or you're somewhere else, we actually have on the website all of the meetups that you can buy. I think it's like $8 a month or $9 a month. You can actually go on to flippinghouses.club or flippinghouses.club/podcast. And you can click on, I think it's other training or something like that. And the first link is, we call it E-REIA, E-Real Estate Investment Association, E standing for electronic. And every meetup that I've ever done, we record them. And you get the latest recording. It takes us about a week after we do the meeting, so it's usually the fourth week. And we post them online. I don't talk about it too much because I want people to come to the live meetings, but lately we've been getting people from like Pennsylvania and like all over the place want the meetings. So if you're not in Connecticut, you can actually get that there. You can get the meeting. I think it's $8.97 a month or something like that.
And if you're in Connecticut, it's blacked out. You can't do it.
Can't do it in Connecticut. You got to come to the live meeting.
Yeah, forget it.
So you can do that as well. And we have lots of other things. We've been adding stuff to the website. I've got a whole team that's working on that. And I've been working my butt off, and you've been working your butt off, and we're gonna get this done.
So we're becoming buttless.
Yeah, buttless. So go to flippinghouses.club, and you can get all that information. Okay, Peter?
Absolutely, Bill.
Until next week, over and out.
Thanks for tuning in to the hottest real estate topics on the planet with Bill and Pete. If you want to continue learning how to buy and sell real estate without money or credit, head over to flippinghouses.club for some cutting-edge real estate wealth tools. Or contact us at info@flippinghouses.club.